Hello and welcome everyone, and thank you so much for joining us for our Meet the Industry virtual selling webinar this afternoon. I'm Patricia Kingston, Corporate Events Officer at Tourism NI, and it's my great pleasure to welcome you all along today. We're very happy to see so many registered for the session and demonstrating just how engaged and eager you all are to make the most out of next week's event. As we continue on our road to recovery together, the virtual Meet the Industry event provides a platform to network and engage with other tourism businesses from across Northern Ireland and help us to stand out in that competitive environment. So we're delighted to be joined today by Julie O'Brien from Runda Hospitality Tourism Solutions, who's going to be sharing lots of useful tips and advice over the next hour to help you prepare. I can tell you at this stage, hot off the press, that we already have over 400 appointment requests, so it's shaping up to be a busy and engaging couple of days next week. I want to take this opportunity to remind you to be sure that you do accept your meeting requests nice and quickly. So after this session is over, be sure to go in and check if you have any outstanding requests. And I'm sure Julie will probably be mentioning that as well. We'll be harping on at you. Any questions at all during the main presentation today, be sure to pop them into the question box in your control panel at any time during the session, and we'll pick up as many of these as possible at the end. So now, without further ado, it's my great pleasure to introduce Julie O'Brien. Good afternoon, Julie, and I'll hand over to you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Patricia. So thank you for that introduction. And I suppose if you could really think about what Patricia just said there about making sure to make your appointment request right after today, because already 400 appointments have been requested, so you don't want to miss out on appointment opportunities. So as Patricia mentioned there, I'm going to be with you for the next hour, and I'm going to take you through some tips for managing and getting great outcomes from the Meet the Industry event. I'm hoping that I know a lot of you who've joined with us here today. And for those of you who don't know me, my name is Julie O'Brien and my company's name is Runda Hospitality Tourism Solutions, and I've had the great honour of working in tourism and hospitality for more than 25 years now. So I'm a big fan of events like Meet the Industry because they really are crucial for driving opportunities for destination Northern Ireland. So let's get down to the nitty-gritty regarding details. So hopefully you know this already, but the dates for the Meet the Industry event are Wednesday the 1st and Thursday the 2nd of February 2023. On those days, Meet the Industry will take place between 9 AM in the morning and 6 PM in the afternoon, and there will be lots of different kinds of attendees, including accommodation providers, visitor attractions, experience providers, tour guides, and transport suppliers. So there are lots of benefits to attending the Meet the Industry event, including partnership opportunities, referral opportunities, and insights, and I'll take you through those a little more as we move over the next hour. So of course, and hopefully also you're aware of this, the format for the Meet the Industry event that is upcoming is virtual, and the platform that will be used for this event is Converve Appointment Booking System. Each appointment for Meet the Industry will last 10 minutes and there will be a 5-minute break between appointments. So bear in mind, you really need to have your house in order for those 10 minutes appointments so that you can maximize opportunities for you, your business, your community, and your destination. So as Patricia said there, the appointments opened this week and hot off the press, there are more than 400 meeting requests to date. So as Patricia advised, I'm just going to reiterate again, please make sure that you're keeping on top of your meeting requests, accepting and requesting appointments so you arrange opportunities with industry colleagues with whom you can decide whether you have opportunities to arrange, for example, partnership opportunities. And again, I'll take you through that a little bit more today. So when it comes to Converve, I do want to point out that there is a Converve briefing document that's been prepared for you by Tourism Northern Ireland. To get this document, please log in to Converve, and this briefing document is available on your personal dashboard. All details are in this briefing document, so you have been warned, and we're going to ask you to please read this briefing document very, very carefully. So where can you find it? Well, here is the screenshot of where you log in for the Meet the Industry event. And if you wait a moment, you'll see here in my nice little pink box where you get to log in. And when you're in your dashboard, then you can see, if you look at this following pink box, where you can download that Converve document. So click here to download the Meet the Industry briefing document. So please, my friends, download that document, read the details so that you set yourself up to have the best opportunity to maximize the outcomes that you can achieve via the Meet the Industry event. So Let's take a look now at the key content that you and I together are going to cover today. And as Patricia mentioned there earlier, if you'd like to pop your questions into the chat, I'd only be delighted to hear from you. So the first topic we're going to look at are webinar outcomes and preparation. The second one is Converve appointment booking system. The third one is presentation tips. The fourth topic is verbal pitch tips. The fifth is collaborative destinations. And the sixth is setting goals. So we've quite a bit to get through now over just under an hour. So bear with me. Hopefully you've had a large cup of coffee and you've your brain switched on so that you can gather all those tips that will help you out with this really important event. So let's kick off now with looking at our first topic, webinar outcomes and preparation. So I suppose anytime you engage in any kind of an event like this for your tourism business and destination, always keep your eye on the goal to know that what you can achieve via your attendance. So I've just summarized here some outcomes and things that you need to be aware of. Firstly, it's really important to state that the Meet the Industry event allows you a huge opportunity to maximize revenue generation and promotional opportunities for your business, community and destination Northern Ireland. You will be able to create a verbal pitch and presentation, and I'll give you some tips for that today that will really enlighten and delight your industry colleagues. And through that process, then you'll be able to match, in other words, determine which industry colleagues that you could potentially partner with. And either way, it's an opportunity for information sharing so that all of your industry colleagues individually and collectively raise your knowledge and awareness of what is available in destination Northern Ireland. I do want to really emphasize the last, the words goal-focused collaboration at the bottom of your screen now, because actually to ensure that your community and business is a success, we need to make sure that individual businesses connect via a collaboration. And I'll really emphasize that before we end today's session. This is really crucial for raising the profile of your tourism business, community and destination, and also for maximizing revenue generation opportunities. So keep that in mind. And now we're going to take a look at what are the potential opportunities for your tourism business via the Meet the Industry event. So there are diverse opportunities that can arise. Firstly, there's an opportunity for promotion. You get to raise the profile of your business through every appointment you have in the Meet the Industry event. There's also an opportunity for referrals. You can potentially meet an industry colleague who will be in a position to refer your offering to their customers via offline channels and online sales channels. There could potentially be an opportunity to meet an industry colleague with whom you could establish a package. And you could also have the potential to set up an itinerary. Maybe you and a couple of other providers in the destination could come together to create an itinerary to show what your destination has to offer. And I'll take you through those key opportunities now in a moment. So in summary, through the Meet the Industry event, you have an opportunity to gain information, insights, and also the opportunity to gain promotion and potentially revenue generation. So that is really something, an opportunity you need to grab with both hands. I mentioned there that there's the opportunity potential for referrals, and I'm going to point out an example of how this can happen. In this example, I'm just referring to Cleavey Castle Hotel, and you can see the website in this presentation. So if you go to Cleavey Castle Hotel website, you will notice that there's a whole page on experiences in this destination. And Cleavey Castle are referring other experience providers with whom they work in this destination. For example, Exhale for forest bathing and Killoan Distillery for distillery experiences. And there are lots of other businesses referenced in this section of their website. So I want you to think about that. If you have an opportunity to connect with an industry colleague through the Meet the Industry event who has the potential to refer you in this way, this would mean that your services could be referred to the customers of another business. So it is a low-cost way of winning customers by getting a referral opportunity through an industry colleague. And I want you to think as you move through your Meet the Industry appointments, if there's a potential for this opportunity with some of your industry colleagues. There's also the potential to create a package opportunity. Now, packages can happen in lots of different ways. For example, an accommodation provider could pair with a visitor attraction or an experience and activity provider. Or a venue, for example, could pair with an experience and activity provider to create a package. So a package, of course, is one price point that includes diverse components for visitors and customers. And here we can see an example of a package using the example of Titanic Hotel Belfast. So in this case, the Titanic Hotel has partnered with Titanic Museum to create the complete Titanic experience. So for one price point, you get to enjoy an overnight stay in the Titanic Hotel Belfast, including your breakfast, and you also get then to visit the Titanic Museum. So this is an example of how a package opportunity could be created. And again, I would like you to think through your appointments at the Meet the Industry event, if there's an opportunity for your business to potentially establish a package with another industry colleague. And I will take you through that, as I said, a little bit more later. Potentially, you could also collaborate with other colleagues to create itineraries. And itineraries are a very useful way of raising the profile of what can be seen and done in a destination in a way that can really persuade customers to book your business and actually come and visit your destination in Northern Ireland. So when we create itineraries, why do we create them? Well, we do these to raise the profile of the geography of a destination. So think of a visitor who maybe doesn't live locally and they don't know how to navigate your destination. Whereas if you create an itinerary over, a day or 3 days or 10 days, 14 days, you actually show them the possibilities within your destination and how to navigate that destination in terms of its geography. So an itinerary can be really useful for this. But of course, when we create an itinerary, we never put in one element. There has to be multiple elements, diverse things to see and do, different places maybe to stay, so that we can raise the profile of your offering and the destination offering. So within the itinerary, we emphasize the geography, what can be done within a particular duration, say a half day or a full day. We itemize things to see and do, raising awareness of things to see and do, places to visit in your destination. We highlight local insights. So think about all the secrets you know about where you come from, maybe a hidden beach, a wonderful woodland, maybe a delicious place where you can eat something really nice and local. All of these are useful for itineraries. In itineraries, you can place free and paid activities from paid tourism experiences, like, for example, going to see a visitor attraction, to unpaid activities, like, for example, pointing out a wonderful panoramic view. And of course, through the itinerary, we show the possibilities, how long it's possible to stay in your destination, a half day, a full day, multi-day duration, and how this looks across 4 seasons. So then you can start attracting diverse customers based on how long they have to stay in your destination and give them lots of reasons to come and visit and show them what is possible. So again, through the Meet the Industry event, I would really like you to think about, is there an opportunity to partner with some industry colleagues in a way that you could create itineraries that could help raise the profile of your offering and what your wider destination has to offer. So bearing in mind that we're going to go to the Meet the Industry event with a goal-focused mindset, I want you to be really aware of what you need to prepare. So now you know the opportunity you can win. You can raise the profile of your business through the Meet the Industry event. You can potentially achieve package opportunities, referral opportunities, and potentially, opportunities to be included in itineraries. So these are really important tools to promote and potentially generate revenue for your business. So to maximize that opportunity, you need to be super well prepared. And what do you need to prepare? So let's take a look at that now. Well, number one, you need to feel fully confident with the Converve appointment booking system. Number two, you need to have a winning presentation. So you don't just turn up on the day and wing it. You make sure you're organized before you arrive so you can get the best out of every single opportunity. Number three, you make sure you have a really strong verbal pitch. And again, you think about the words that you're going to use in advance so you maximize the opportunity within those short time slots of 10-minute appointments. And finally, you make sure that you're prepared to follow up. because if you don't follow up, you won't maximize on the opportunities that present themselves via the Meet the Industry event. So let's take a look now at what we've described as our first step in preparation. We're going to take a look at the Converve appointment booking system. Now, many of you who have joined us today may be very familiar with this system, and some of you may be newer to it. But don't worry about it. It's quite an intuitive system and it's really well organized. You just need to know that you need to put in really strong information so that you're attracting the kind of industry colleagues who are a match, who would be interested in your offering. So the first piece of advice I would give you for engaging with Converve, the appointment booking system, is that you are technology ready. So basically, Converve is, a technological platform that allows diverse members of the industry to connect virtually. And through this system, you get to arrange appointments with other industry colleagues. So you can request appointments of an industry colleague, or they can request appointments of you. When your colleagues are looking for, the kind of people they should create appointments with, they're likely to take a look at your profile. So look at what I've written in the first navy blue box here. Check your profile, make sure it's clear, succinct, and positive. So maybe after today's session, you could take a look at your Converve profile and see how it's written, and imagine yourself being an industry colleague in another part of Northern Ireland or in your local area. And if you were to think about them reading your profile and looking at your imagery, do you think you'd feel proud of that? Because what we want to do is create a really positive impression, so that we begin to win the admiration of our industry colleagues and also attract the industry colleagues who are the right match for our offering. If you take a look at the little pink box here, you will see I've mentioned request and accept appointments. So be proactive, request appointments among industry colleagues who you feel you could have a good relationship with, and make sure to accept appointments from industry colleagues who are requesting them of you if you also feel that there's a strong, opportunity for alignment here. In the little light blue box, you can see practice presenting. So I've worked in tourism hospitality for more than 25 years, maybe even 30 if I were to add the years up properly now. And I can tell you, I would never ever show up to any event, even now, without practicing beforehand, because I'm aware I'm trying to get the best out of the opportunity. So I'm strongly recommending that you practice before you attend the Meet the Industry event so that you can get the best out of this opportunity too. I'll give you some tips for that in a moment. Also, the final point, you can connect via messaging. So in the Converve booking system, there is a messaging system, and it is really nice, for example, if an industry colleague has requested an appointment with you, that you might, for example, reply back a nice message. And that way you are beginning a connection before you even meet online through the Meet the Industry event. So let's flesh out those points a little bit more now. So as I said there earlier, please request and accept appointments. Reach out to industry contacts in your local area, but also reach out to colleagues in other parts of Northern Ireland. And that way you'll extend your reach, raising the profile of your business offering across destination Northern Ireland. So I'll just reiterate that point again. Make sure to create appointments, request appointments with industry contacts who are, have the potential for strong partnerships in your local area, but also reach out to contacts in other destinations in Northern Ireland so you can raise the profile and spread the word about what you do in destination Northern Ireland. I did mention the importance of practicing presenting, and I am pleased urging you today to make sure you do that for this Meet the Industry event. And there are multiple ways in which you can practice. For example, for an appointment that is already established, let's just say you've requested an appointment of someone or they've requested an appointment of you, and that appointment is confirmed, you can actually pop into that appointment at any stage before the Meet the Industry event and practice your presentation. So you can simply, press on the activate appointment, that's, to start your appointment. And when nobody is looking, you can practice your presentation. So by the time you get to the live event, you feel totally comfortable. And I'd highly recommend that you do that. When you're doing your practice, and when, based on the pre-event practice, do practice your camera positioning. So it's really important through a virtual platform that you create a strong impression. So watch how you look on the camera, make sure that you're centered, make sure that there's light on your face, that you're not in darkness, because you're going to be creating a connection with an industry colleague over a technological platform. You want to make it feel as if both of you are in the same room, and it's, human to human, you're having a positive and engaging conversation. So you can work out all of that before the meet the industry event, to make sure by the time you do the live appointments, you have all of that in order, and all you then need to focus on is presenting what your business offering is. Do practice screen sharing. If you're going to be using a PowerPoint presentation, then in advance of the live event, make sure that you've practiced screen sharing so that you have no issue with this and you feel totally comfortable with it. Particularly if you're not someone who's comfortable with technology, it is really useful to practice this in advance. And like anything, you can learn it. And by the time you land at the live Meet the Industry event, I promise you will not have an issue. For the Meet the Industry event, be aware, of course, this is a virtual event, and therefore broadband is really important. So on the day of event, make sure you've well warned any colleagues in an office or family in your home, if you happen to be presenting from home, that they're to please stay off the broadband, because you do not want any pressure on that broadband, maybe disrupting the virtual connection between you and your industry colleague. So give yourself the best opportunity to have a positive meeting, by telling everyone else, please remove yourself from the broadband, because this is an important day for your presentation to your industry colleagues. And finally, in my nice gold box at the end, please practice, so that you feel comfortable and that you create a positive impression. So watch yourself as you're moving on the camera and see how you're interacting, so that you can see maybe how your industry colleague will interpret you from the outside, so that you're coming across as positive and that you're doing your business and your destination, the greatest justice, presenting it in the most positive light. So please, my friends, I'm definitely asking you to practice presenting to get the most out of your Meet the Industry event. I did mention earlier that you can connect via messaging on the Converve appointment booking system. And this is an example, I'll let you read this in your own time, of how you might do this. But something like, "Dear Jane, I'm looking forward to speaking with you on whatever date at whatever time. I will have the laptop ready to show you how beautiful our location is in wherever you are, rural, coastal, wherever it is, and name your place. I'm also eager to share news about our new experience called, whatever it's called. We launched it in whatever date and it's receiving 5-star reviews. I'm hoping this is something that will suit your guests or your customers staying in your hotel." So you can adapt that kind of message based on the potential opportunity you have, but it is very nice to use the messaging system, so you're creating a connection before you even meet at the actual event, and that will make sure you've kind of warmed up the conversation before the live event, which will make for a more positive appointment. Please, please be aware that everything you say and do, your behavior, the words you choose, the images you choose in your presentation, that you are a reflection of everything. You do a great presentation and your industry colleague is going to assume that all of your colleagues or anyone else works with you is brilliant too. If you do a poorer presentation, it won't have as positive an impact. So I would really urge you to practice to make sure that you reflect what your offering is in the most positive light. So be aware that your words, your behavior are seen as a reflection of everything, and the tone that you try to strike is professional and friendly, because we need to make our colleagues aware that we are reliable and easy to work with too. I would also emphasize, let's just say you turn up to the industry event and you feel the first appointment has not gone great for you. Well, do not worry about that either. Just pick yourself up and improve on the next one. Every one of us learns more every day, so don't be hard on yourself if that happens. But through practice, you'll set yourself up to have the best outcome. So apart from managing the Converve appointment system in terms of your presentation, I would also urge you to prepare an excellent presentation so that you can get the most out of this opportunity. So let's take a look now at what we've described as step 2 in your presentation, in your preparation, and that is to prepare your presentation. So of course, when you're preparing, you have diverse options. You could prepare a PowerPoint presentation. You could also potentially have physical images that you might show on screen, or you could have an album or storybook. Now, of course, when we're presenting in person, so face to face, we have lots of flexible opportunities for presenting our business offering. And I would say, you know, when you're presenting through a technological platform like Converve, PowerPoint presentation is very useful because you can screen share. If you feel uncomfortable with PowerPoint, then think of other ways you can present. For example, maybe by using physical images or showing, you know, the customer what your offering is if you're positioned in a great location within your tourism business. So whatever option you choose, please make sure that you've practiced with it in advance to make sure that you feel, you know, that it's totally in order and comfortable by the time you get to the live event. I'm going to focus now on PowerPoint presentations for presenting via the Meet the Industry event on the Converve platform, because it does have that screen sharing functionality. It makes it very suitable for this kind of presentation. So it is very nice at the beginning of your 10-minute conversation, 10-minute appointment, if you begin with an opening conversation with your industry colleague. So just welcoming them and having a nice moment. Then the moment you're ready to present, then if you engage the screen share functionality, you should have your presentation prepared well in advance of the Meet the Industry event. And that way, by the time you arrive, it will be totally in order. So I would recommend when you're preparing that presentation to please make sure it includes your contact details and business brand. And I would make sure that that is visible at the first and the last slide of your presentation. Please select about 8 to 10 strong images that reflect who you are and what your business is about brilliantly, because through these images, you're going to be giving your industry colleague an insight, a flavor of the offering that you have for them. There is no issue with using video in your presentation. However, if you are going to use it, please use it with care. Please don't just press play and, for example, turn your head another way so that you're creating a disconnect with your industry colleague. If you're using video, it should be short and engaging, and again, used to enlighten the colleague into what your offering is. And finally, my advice would be that you get a really good map. Don't assume that your colleague knows where you're located. Get the map so you can really highlight where your location is. When you're creating your presentation, please avoid text-heavy presentations. They can really burden the brain and actually can be really distracting when you're presenting. So focus on image-rich presentations rather than text-heavy. Make sure your presentation is properly formatted and that there are no spelling errors, because this is all about creating a positive impression. And finally, it's very important that we make sure that our visual presentation, say our PowerPoint presentation, is aligned with what we're going to say verbally, so that there's a complete communion between the verbal and the visual, that they're entirely aligned, so that the presentation is coherent. So I always practice presentations, and at the beginning when I'm at home, I could sound really robotic because I'm literally moving through the kind of stuff that I'm going to say. But by the time then I land in front of an event like this, say with Meet the Industry and my industry colleague, it's going to sound a lot more fluid because I've already gone through the paths in my brain that has organized and edited that content, so I can be more myself now, more down to earth, and focus on a natural connection with my industry colleague. So we've looked now at how you might prepare your actual presentation for the Meet the Industry event. But what are you going to say? So like I said there earlier, it's imperative that you align your verbal presentation with your verbal pitch with your visual presentation. So how might you do this? So I'm going to show you a couple of little tips in that regard now. So please practice your alignment on your presentation. So first of all, it's important to say that when you show up on the Converve system for, say, your first appointment, whoever is registered to attend will be visible to your industry colleague. Sometimes, as we know, that might change on the day, and maybe, John will present instead of Jane for whatever reason within your business. If that happens, just make sure to smooth it over to create a little bit of clarity so your industry colleague doesn't feel confused. And you can say something like I've put on this screen. So, hi Jane, my name is John Smith. I've been so looking forward to meeting you today. As you can see, my colleague Michael Jones was registered to meet with you. Michael and I work really close together, and I'm so looking forward to telling you what we have to offer. That will just smooth it over so that your industry colleague knows that you are the person joining the conversation today, and you've kind of, closed out a query that may exist within their brain. So over the next couple of minutes, I'm going to take you through how to prepare your verbal pitch steps. You prepare your presentation, and then you think about what you're going to say verbally for each image, for each slide you include in that presentation. And I've mapped that out in about 11 steps here today to help you out. So you can see here, number 1, introduction and welcome. Number 2, gauge knowledge level. Number 3, highlight your location. Number 4, clearly define your business offering. And on we go with the following, 5 steps, 5 to 11. From number 5, enlighten with words and images, to number 11, please follow up. So I'm going to ask you to go back on that summary, please, after today's session, because I'm going to take you in a little bit more detail through each one of those 11 steps now. So number 1, the introduction and welcome. So this is your opportunity to set the stage, to immediately allow your industry colleague to feel welcomed and settled. And I might open by saying something like this. Well, hello, Joan. My name is Caroline Dunn, and I represent Wild Moon Adventures. I have been so looking forward to meeting you this morning. So please, being aware that you need to have a positive impact on your industry colleague, make them feel welcome with a smile. We work in the business of tourism. Our job is to create memories. Therefore, showing you have the ability to do this with your colleagues and with customers is really, really important. So start off, please, on a good note. Secondly, jump in by gauging their knowledge level. And of course, you'll adapt this based on how much you realize your industry colleague knows about you. But if I have no idea whether they know about me or not, I would say to my industry colleague, look, can I just ask, have you ever heard about us? So you assess how much your industry colleague knows about your offering. For step 3, please highlight your location. Now, of course, these steps may happen in a slightly different order based on how you arrange your presentation and how the verbal conversation unfolds with your industry colleague, but they'll provide you with the hooks, the prompts that will really help you deliver an excellent presentation. So please, my friends, do highlight your location. Say something like, let me begin by showing in a map exactly where we're located, and show the map and make sure it's a good map so I can immediately visualize in my mind where you're based. I consider myself so lucky to be from here. Hopefully one day soon, and maybe give an indication of why you feel so lucky. Hopefully one day soon you'll be able to come and see where we are based for yourself. So bear in mind that your passion will instill a passion in your industry colleague. So dropping in a little note like that, can be really, really help to create a connection and reflect who you are in a positive note. So please ensure that your colleague understands where your offering is located, and please point to this on the map. Step number 4, please define your business offering. So you should be able to say, for example, my name is, my business is, my experiences and services are, and then give an insight into what those experiences and services are about. So it's important to be crystal clear about your offering so that your colleague can establish what kind of business offering this is, what kind of experiences they are, and potentially, does this match the needs of the kind of customers that I look after? Is there an opportunity, for example, to refer or to create a package here? So clearly define your business offering. And I'm going to show you an example of this now, just looking at the Bushmills Inn. So Bushmills Inn, I'm speaking on your behalf, but of course it's up to you to arrange what you'd like to say to your industry colleague. So for the sake of example, if I were from the Bushmills Inn, I might say something like, my name is, whatever my name is. I represent the Bushmills Inn in County Antrim. Set against the dramatic backdrop of the Giant's Causeway, Bushmills Inn was a coaching inn in the 1600s. Look, I cannot tell you how much I love this place. It just oozes charm and has lots of places to hide from the world, from hayloft snugs to quiet spaces beside turf fires. And those little words that will illuminate the offering, so that without being there, your industry colleague will begin to get an idea of what your offering is. And on we go then to explain what's in the offering, for example, rooms, restaurant and a cinema, and on we go. So if you could prepare content in this way and then, use words that are natural to you and a tone that's natural to you, so you can create engagement with the industry colleague, that would be really useful. So make it a nice moment for yourself and for your colleague. So please enlighten with words and images and video if you're going to use it. So your industry colleague should be able to give a clear picture of the experience in your business offering without even being there. So you need to choose your words and your imagery really carefully, and that's why you prepare your presentation to achieve that. So your job is to enlighten your colleague with words and pictures. They should be able to visualize this without ever having seen it. So I've given you an example of how you can enlighten with words and images here. So on the left in the blue boxes, you can see words that are kind of evocative, like a wooded valley, a blanket bog, a waterfall, hayloft snug, starlit or dusk, kayaking. So these words, if we drop them in, suddenly they create a picture in our brain. Please avoid the green boxes on the right if you could when you are doing your pitch, because sometimes we get nervous and we start to say things like, so the experience lasts 2 hours and I would recommend you wear X and Y, and if you come at 6 o'clock on a Thursday, it will happen in a different way because. So they're the practicalities of running the experience, and you can always follow up with those details later. But please, when you're presenting to your industry colleague, focus on the mental images and the words, these beautiful words and images that paint a picture, so you enlighten the colleague. You do not want to bore them, I suppose, with unnecessary detail that can be used as a follow-up later. Our next step, please create trust and inspire. So win your colleagues' admiration and trust. Make sure that your colleague realizes that you are easy to work with. Make sure that they understand that you're reliable. Make sure that they understand that you're referral worthy. Potentially here you're looking for them to refer your offering to their customers. So they'll only do that if they realize you are easy to work with and reliable. And again, I've put in an example of how you might do this here, just pulling on Glenshane Country Farm. So again, I'm speaking from Jamesy McCloy here, and you can adapt these words based on your own presentation, and I'll let you read it in your own time. But basically, I've started off saying, my name is Jamesy McCloy, and I am the owner of Glenshane Farm, where my family has been farming for more than 4 generations. Here is a picture of me out in the farm with my trusted, highly trained sheepdogs. The third bullet point there goes through the beautiful views you can see from Jamesy's farm. And look at the bottom there, we have 5-star reviews, 5-star customer reviews on Google Reviews and TripAdvisor. We also work with leading travel buyers. For example, Kontiki in North America describe what we do as idyllic and sustainable. So immediately, if you're using external referrals or feedback from your clients, it will make the industry colleague going, wow, they really know what they're at, and this is something really compelling. So it's your job to create that sense of trust and inspire your colleagues. So please do succeed in doing that with good presentation. It is most important that you clarify what you have available for sale, so the experiences or services that you sell. And you could have 15 experiences or services, but I guarantee you in 10 minutes, you're not going to have all the time to show that. So you're likely to be tight on time. So what I would recommend is you select, for example, a sample experience or service that can provide an insight into your offering, or you select an experience or service that you feel best meets the needs of your industry colleague and the kind of customers that they look after. So again, I've included an example here for a business called Celtic Storm, where showing you how you might show what your experiences are to offer. And here we started off saying, my name is Josephine Brennan King, and a little bit about her background, how she was dance captain in Michael Flatley's Lord of the Dance show. And in the next speech bubble, you can see how she starts to explain about one of her many experiences. So today I would like to tell you about dancing at the crossroads. And in your own time, I would like you to read that example, because she's just pulling out little sentences, or rather I've created the words to take out little sentences that will give you an insight into the offering. So again, your industry colleague can decide whether it's a match for their customers or not. So I would like you to think about how you might plan that out for your own business too. Please be concise, precise, and do not exaggerate. Please do not say you're the best, the first, the only, if you really are not. Just show your offering with integrity. So be precise and concise. Do not overwhelm with integrity. In other words, with authenticity, and avoid exaggerating. So if you are the number one of whatever in the world, fine, but only state that if it's a confirmed fact. Otherwise, just present your business offering and who you are and what the experiences and service are that you have to offer. Please, my friends, listen and engage. If you're doing multiple appointments in a day and there are lots of 10-minute slots, it can feel overwhelming if somebody is talking at you all the time. So please listen, hear and respond to your industry colleague. Listen to their needs and feedbacks. Be aware of their verbal and body language. Do they look like they're switching off? In which case, you might need to say something that alerts them a little bit more. Are you watching to see if there's an opportunity? Look at my green box here. By listening, establish if there's an opportunity to engage, to refer, to establish a package, to be part of a sample itinerary, or maybe simply to establish a connection. So what is the opportunity here? Is there one arising? And are you maximizing the opportunity if it does arise? If an opportunity does arise, make sure and ask for it. So encourage it. For example, it's been so lovely to speak with you today and to share what we offer. If you thought it might be possible to showcase our experiences to your customers, offline and via your website, we'd be delighted. Do you think that would be possible? And each time you're determining if there is an opportunity, if it's a yes, no, or a maybe, and your industry colleague needs to be able to honestly reply as to whether there's an opportunity or not. Please also, if you're in a position to reciprocate an opportunity, let your industry colleague know. So for example, of course, it would be my pleasure to let my customers know what you do too. I could do that in many ways, for example, and you can tell them how you might do that. And that way our customers will know all about how they can make contact with you directly to book. I'd really be delighted to do that for you. So look, we're trying to create connections, positive connections with our industry colleagues. So if you're have an opportunity to reciprocate, please do advise that. And finally, my last step in preparation is close and follow up. End on a high note. Say something like, look, thanks a million for your time today. It's been so lovely to meet you and to share our offering. And then please have a plan for follow up, because I have a golden rule, and that's that there's no point in showing up unless you follow up. So plan maybe a date where you will follow up with the industry colleagues that you've met through this incredible event that Tourism Northern Ireland has, organised for you, and say something like this: Dear Jane, it was so lovely to meet you at the Meet the Industry event organised by Tourism Northern Ireland. As promised, I'm delighted to enclose a summary of information about our offering. I was really happy to hear that you would like to refer what we do to your customers. If I called in on whatever date, on whatever time, would that work for you so we can discuss further? So arrange a follow-up, of course, that's appropriate for whatever conversation you've had with your industry colleague. So I hope those tips on verbal pitches and presentations have been useful for you. We're coming up to the last few minutes of the session today. And as Patricia said there earlier, if you'd like to pop any questions into the chat, I'd only be delighted to hear from you. But before we do move on, I just want to give you, to, I suppose, raise the important reasons why would Tourism Northern Ireland be organising this Meet the Industry event? Why is there such a focus on collaborative destinations? And I would really like you to think about this question and why this Meet the Industry event is really crucial for you as a tourism business in Destination Northern Ireland. So think about it. Ireland, and in fact the world, is full of beautiful places. So why are some more well known than others? So think about this. Think about the power of one voice, and now think about the power of multiple voices. So one voice can only achieve so much. But if individuals connect, then we get a repetition of diverse voices offline and online. And that's where we get a rising tide that creates opportunities for the individual, the collective, and for destinations. So I can tell you without exception that tourism destinations in Ireland and around the world that are successful because the individuals have connected as a collaborative. It is step one for successful tourism businesses and destinations. And therefore, this Meet the Industry event is really important because it is allowing you to create those multiple voices so you can raise the profile of your offering and destination in Northern Ireland working as a team. And I also like to think about that a little bit like a chocolate box. So when we're presenting destinations, you think about it, nobody picks a destination because of one thing, not because of one chocolate. What we're looking for is diverse chocolates, lots of different things to see and do in a destination that matches diverse customers' needs for diverse budgets, for diverse interests, and from diverse markets. So pulling together as destinations makes us offer a wider and more compelling chocolate box, if you like. And so this really emphasizes the importance of the Meet the Industry event. And I would really urge you to make sure you maximize the opportunity, not only for yourself, which is really important, but for your colleagues and for Destination Northern Ireland as a whole. So finally, I have a bit of a challenge for you, and that's because I don't like to really engage in anything unless I've got a particular goal or a particular outcome that needs to be achieved. So you're going to meet hopefully multiple industry colleagues, and you're going to do wonderful presentations, and you're going to, establish the kind of opportunities you can win for those, like establishing connections, gaining information, maybe the opportunity for packages, for referrals, for itinerary opportunities. And when you engage and meet the industry, please do set yourself a goal of your own. So I'm going to suggest that you achieve 3 collaborative partnership opportunities over the duration of the full event. And those collaborative partnership opportunities could be a referral, so the opportunity for a business, an industry colleague confirms that they can refer you offline or online and online. Or a package opportunity, or maybe the potential to be involved in an itinerary. So at the end of Meet the Industry event, maybe check in with that goal 3, or maybe you'd like to set it at 8, depending on what business you are, or maybe 2 if you're a business at an earlier stage of your journey, and then see against your goal, if you've achieved that at the end of the Meet the Industry event, and that'll keep you on target then. So finally for today, I would just like to reiterate that the beauty of the Meet the Industry event is that you're with industry colleagues, so you're among friends. There's nothing to be scared of here. Well, please do make sure you prepare so you end up having a really positive Meet the Industry event, both for yourself and a really enlightening event for your industry colleagues. And I would really like you to leave feeling that you have won their admiration. And if everyone does that, attends the Meet the Industry event in Northern Ireland, I think it will be a major, major success for the destination. So my friends, that's a whirlwind around Meet the Industry event for Tourism Northern Ireland. And I have come up here now in questions and answers. So if, my friend Patricia has just popped in there. Thanks, Patricia. So if there's anything that, has popped in, let me know and I'd be delighted to answer any questions.
Thank you so much, Julie, and lots of really, really useful information there, lots to take in and absorb. And a reminder to everyone who's joining us today, we've been recording this session and we'll have a link to the recording available afterwards, along with a PDF of Julie's slides, so you can review those again at your leisure. So if you were scribbling notes furiously, don't worry, you'll be able to access this again. As Julie mentioned, I'll be able to pose any of your questions to her very shortly. So if there's anything that you do want to ask, feel free to pop it into the chat there, and I can pick those up in the next couple of minutes. But just before we get stuck into that, I'm going to do a couple of very quick polls. Anyone who's been on some of my webinars before know I like to ask a couple of quick questions at the end, just to get a feel for how you found today's session. So the first one should appear on the screen shortly, which is how would you rate today's session in terms of content and relevance to your business? So that's with 1 being not relevant at all and 5 being extremely relevant. I'll just give you a moment to select there. Okay. Thank you so much. And the second one's just a very easy yes or no, and it's just, do you plan to take any direct action as a direct result of what you've heard today? That's just a simple yes or no. Great, thank you so much. And Julie, thank you. That was so interesting, and I think just lots of food for thought, and really lots for people to absorb there. Now, we do have it's kind of more of a technical question in relation to converbs. So I'm not sure if you're familiar enough to be able to advise on this, but someone was wondering, when they're screen sharing during the actual meetings, can they share slides, or are you able to see your face and slides as well at the same time? I'm not actually sure on that. I don't know if, Julie, you happen to know that, or if Barry
Well, actually,
in the background would know.
yeah, well, I think also, as we know, we've got Barry in the background, who's a real technical expert, so it's no harm to follow up with everyone on that as well. But actually, you've just raised a really important point there. When you screen share, they'll be able to see everything on your screen. So please only have your presentation open. So if you've got bank statements, for example, they'll be visible too. So please make sure if you're screen sharing that you have the right content open and only that it's visible, please. Yeah. Yeah, but they should be able to see you as well. Isn't that correct, Barry?
Yep, that's exactly it. Just as we're seeing it now, so there'll be slides on camera also.
Yeah.
Okay. Barry's a little bit quiet there, I think, whatever way your microphone is, but yes, I think I picked that up correctly. So you should, similar to how we are now, it should be a sort of picture and slides both visible then. That's great news. So I think everyone else is still really just absorbing everything that they've heard, but we're also going to be sharing this link to, so you may be watching this again if you weren't on the live session. So if you do watch the live session and you do have a question, do feel free to get in touch with ourselves, and we can follow up on those as well, or any technical questions. Someone else is just asking here, are you able to share videos on the day to get a better picture of the product? I suppose, yes, that would be similar in that sort of screen share point of view. Is video, in the same way that you can share a presentation, I presume you can share a video?
Yeah, Barry, will we nod together?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Hopefully, if you can hear me a little bit better, is that any better now?
Perfect. I can hear you perfect.
Yes.
Yeah.
So again, yeah, exactly. Yeah, you can share video content, and in much the same way as you would share your PowerPoint. I suppose the only thing to note would be that the appointments are only 10 minutes, and whilst video is great in terms of getting a visual message across, just be mindful of your 10-minute appointment.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And if the video enlightens, ask yourself if it's enlightening. So sometimes, honestly, and I'm going to do this, okay, this is what happens. Someone does this and this, and then you just see the side or the back of their head for maybe 2 minutes in the middle of a presentation, and it immediately disconnects you from your colleague. So I've seen that happen so many times on Converve and other platforms. Please do not do that. But if you're going to press play and then, show, for example, your industry colleague, I don't know, if you're, for example, a guide, how you're moving through particular streets, for example, and you're talking them through it, then the video becomes relevant. So everything you put in your presentation should be designed to enlighten, and over the 10 minutes, you shouldn't be really breaking that connection with your industry colleague. That's really, really important. So if the video, I would say, is longer than 30 seconds, it might be too long, something to consider.
Maybe, Julie, is that something that you would recommend that could be part of a follow-up? So you think you've had a really good connection with someone, you say, I could send you a link so you can see it in action to bring it to life, and that could almost trigger maybe a follow-up conversation, maybe?
Yeah, it can be great and follow up. To be honest, if this were a couple of years ago, I'd be saying, please don't use video, because people weren't using them very well. But I've actually noticed a huge improvement in how people are using video in presentations. And sometimes, and I think this may be the perspective of the person who's written in the chat function there, sometimes it can enlighten, it can really show you what the experience offering is about. And people have become just more skilled in using the presentation to enlighten. So I would just say, if you're someone who doesn't feel so confident with using the video, or you feel your video is too long, just don't use it. Maybe use it in follow-up like Patricia suggested there. But if it's a short video and you feel you're using it very well to engage and enlighten the industry colleague, then fire ahead, if you feel comfortable with that, But watch the length of it, and watch if your head is moving in a different direction, so you're losing eye contact. Yeah.
Yes, good point. I suppose, what would you say, Julie, if people take one thing away from today, what's the thing when they log on next Wednesday that just to remember, if you're starting to feel almost that slight, you're about to go on the first call and your mind goes blank, what would you advise them to remember?
But look, Patricia, as you know, like I spent my whole career presenting, like even today, I feel, every time I do a new one, I feel that moment of nerves. That's normal. I think as a human being, that's what makes you get the best out of a session. So, get up a bit early, have a cup of tea, have your bowl of porridge, or whatever you like to have for your breakfast, so that you feel immediately settled. My one big tip would be, please prepare, because if you prepare, a curveball is likely to happen on a day someone's going to ask you a question, or something might happen that you haven't prepared for. But if you've prepared, then you can be more readily able to deal with that curveball, because you've everything else in order. You know how to use the Converb appointment system, you've your presentation prepared, you know, you have the kind of words you want to use, you have that all thought about, and it just takes the pressure off. For those people who are new, who've never done it before, you know, you might find that you're not so happy with how it goes in the first few appointments. Please don't worry about it. You'll pick it up on the next appointment. So don't worry about it. So the more you do this, the more skilled you'll become. And, you know, for some people, it's more of a learning process than others, because maybe they're at an earlier stage, and that's totally fine too. Be yourself, be succinct, be compelling, you know, win the admiration of your industry colleague. That's what I would say.
Yeah, I suppose it's important to remember as well, and this is a great opportunity. You're among friends. You're meeting with someone, but you're both in the same boat here.
Okay.
You're chatting to each other. So it's try not to be too daunted. The whole point of this is that for our industry to have the opportunity to engage together and in a really nice, relatively relaxed way. So try not to get too daunted by it all.
Not at all. And people who work in the tourism industry tend to like people and like connecting, you know, so that's not an issue. It's just, you know, if you're someone who maybe isn't as comfortable with the technology, but all of us have improved. We were only saying that earlier through COVID on this. So that can be the only kind of challenge. So if you feel you're still in that boat, not as comfortable with the technology, just practice and you'll be fine. Yeah. And as you say, you're among friends here. So it's a brilliant landscape to be in, you know. Yeah.
Yeah, great. Thank you so much, Julie. Thanks for everything. I'm going to take the opportunity to remind everyone one more time, as Barry has asked me to remind you as well. Please be sure to accept any meeting requests as quickly as you can to make sure you don't miss out on any of the engagement opportunities. I'm also going to take the opportunity to do a quick shameless plug for our ongoing Tourism Enterprise Development Programme, which is this is really a part of, but we have some other webinars that are currently open for registration. So if you make sure you regularly take a look on tourismni.com/TNI events, you can find a reminder of the details for next week's event, which is where we'll have the recording from today, and also Julie's slides. But also you'll see there in our upcoming events some webinars that are coming up over the next month or two. And if you haven't registered for those, they're definitely worth a look. So all that remains is for me to say thank you once again, Julie, very much. Thanks, Barry, for keeping us right on all things technical. And thanks for everyone that's joined us here today. And hello to anyone who's watching us on the recording. And best of luck for everybody for next week's main event on Wednesday and Thursday. Thank you so much. Cheers.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks so much, folks. And just to add, someone has put into the questions that they had they're having difficulty logging in. Any issues at all, just send me an email and I'll be able to get on and offer some support. And Brian, who's put that in, I've given you my mobile number, so give me a shout after this and we'll have a chat you through. Okay.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Cheers.
Thanks everybody. Bye now.